Hey fam, um, I'm over here looking at this video here, and you can see it in its entirety um, on Creators Children Truth Nation on BitChute and Creators Children Truth Nation uh, on Facebook. Previously, Bambi is Family, but I'm looking at how they dealt with the people that contracted COVID. How they kept us all away from the hospitals. When our family members uh, got COVID and they went in the hospitals, and they was all like, oh, you can't go see them and all this type of stuff. And then, excuse me, they killed them and kept them away from us. You know what I'm saying? And I kept saying, what is going on? What is going on? It's more to them locking them off and everything, because we know coronavirus is just a common cold, you know. And now watching this, it makes more sense to me how they kept the families away, how they locked them off and everything, because they wanted to get those bodies, they wanted to get those organs, they wanted to get, the tissues, the stem cells, or whatever that they could get from these bodies, to help them live. Because, like I always say, they live off of us, the humans, in every single way possible. We are their lifeline. They eat, they feed. We are their lifeline. The creator of everything is our lifeline, But in this right here, I want you to take note of how they make up this fake pandemic, Then they get the humans, tell them they got the COVID, bring them to the hospitals, kill them, and then start harvesting their bodies, taking the human body and using it to further their longevity, because that's basically what they're doing, and then trying to find more ways to destroy the human body. Let's take a look at this.
As a result, the process of declaring a COVID-19 death, handling of the corpse and cremating or burying was greatly expedited, leaving very little time or making it impossible for loved ones to come into physical contact with the body of the deceased, from the time of death to the time of cremation or burial. Articles were published on mainstream media, normalizing the idea that dead bodies could indeed transmit the virus. Therefore, special protocols are needed for handling the deceased. Fast forward to 2022, and now mainstream media are openly reporting that the actual death toll of COVID might have been exaggerated because of policy dictating how the death certificates were filled in.
Back to March of 2020, on the back of the World Health Organization's guidance, countries issued mandates on whether autopsies are even allowed, and how long a dead body can remain before it is cremated or buried. India ruled out autopsies unless for quote special reasons, and mandated that negative pressure be maintained in the mortuary. India and the Philippines mandated that dead bodies from COVID-19 must either cremated within a few hours from the time of death, or buried in a sealed metal casket within the same time period. India and Philippines are both countries with widespread organ trafficking. These scenes from India, with mass cremations and frantic disposal of dead bodies, are a direct result of these policies. Fast forward to today, it's widely accepted that people dying from other causes were falsely labeled as COVID deaths, thus falling under the special burial protocol where an autopsy was not allowed.
Right. And then they, everybody was coming up with COVID. You've seen the videos. They were sending in those swabs that they waved in the air and then put in the packages and sent them off. And then they came back positive. You know what I'm saying? We already know the pandemic is fake. We already know that, they killed them as soon as they got in the hospital, claiming they had the COVID and everything, and put them on them ventilators and stuff, And then they started stealing organs, stealing body parts from the humans. There's always ulterior motives to things that they do. They use this pandemic to scare you to death. They used the common cold, coronavirus as the common cold. And then they started stealing organs. They started killing off the humans and harvesting their organs for their longevity.
Today, we also know that PCR tests, considered the gold standard through the early months of the pandemic, are actually wildly inaccurate. The American Center for Disease Control has admitted to distributing flawed tests that gave a large number of false positives.
Flawed tests. The swabs were all bullshit. Okay, it was not to test y'all for nothing. It was to infect y'all with more shit. Okay, and you can find a video explaining that I also put up on the Creative Children Truth Nation on BitChute and on Facebook. Okay, because this is information that we need to know, and they're not hiding nothing no more. They've successfully convinced many of the humans that this thing is real. They've already brain damaged them, that even if they said right now, we made up everything, it's not real, there'll still be people running around with the mask, and then you can't take back that shot. You know what I'm saying? You can't take it back. Well, you need to know what wicked creatures that you put your trust into when you decided to go take that shot. You trusted these wicked fucks, the same ones that's, eating us and feeding off of us and stealing our organs and manipulating our tissues and trying to find more ways to break us down on a cellular level. These fucks have been studying the human since our existence. I'm 53, okay? Since our existence here. They've been studying, manipulating, finding more ways to get humans to feed off the bodies. They're the ones responsible for trafficking. They're the ones. They're the ones because they need the human body. They feed and live off of us, the human. They are soulless. We are their lifeline, the blood. That's why they love the blood so much. They gave you a blood god, okay? That's why they love the blood. They feed and live off of us.
Fast forward to February of 2022, mainstream media are now reporting that people who die from COVID-19 are viable organ donors, after all. And even that organs from deceased COVID-positive donors could lead to an increase in organ transplants and save lives.
Of course they know everything was named COVID, remember? Anytime anybody died in the hospital, it was COVID. So you have people going in the hospital just dying, nothing, not contagious, not nothing. But you know what they were? Organs, tissue, cells. That's what they were. That's what all of them were named with COVID, and nothing the fuck was contagious about them. They were cattle. They need those organs, because I'm thinking, with the decreasing of the population, getting rid of humans, they can't stop feeding. Even though they want to kill off everybody, they can't stop feeding. So why not bring on this pandemic where they can gather humans and collect all of the materials they need for longevity? Collect all the organs, freeze them. You know what I'm saying? They use this pandemic, going right along with their reset to gather their food source.
There seems to be a discrepancy here. To sum up, in the early months of the pandemic, in April and March of 2020, thousands of excess deaths were reported as COVID deaths through inaccurate PCR tests, and their dead bodies were handled in secrecy and hastily cremated or buried because of a special handling and burial protocol.
Right. Handled in secrecy, locked the parents off, cremated them. You know what I'm saying? The families off. They had to hurry up and do it within a 12-hour period. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to get those organs fresh. That's why. We have to cremate them after the 12 hours because they have to gather those organs. They have a certain amount of time to get those organs out, to get them refrigerated, to keep them fresh. I'm just thinking about these wicked fucks, you know. And you guys you still loving them. You're running out there voting for them. You're dancing to their music. You're buying their shit, you know. And in the meantime, you shot the fuck up. And they're gathering the human body organs, the human bodies for their longevity because they feed off of us in every way.
Call dictated by the World Health Organization. But we've since found out that these people might have died from other causes and that their organs are actually viable for donation. Is there any other indication that COVID patients are treated like valuable commodities rather than getting the best available treatment? Dr. Joseph Mercola reports.
Something truly unthinkable is happening in America's hospitals. Around the country, COVID-19 patients are being killed by inappropriate medical protocols, and they have no say-so in the treatment they receive. They've literally been stripped of their patient rights. They're refused basic drugs like antibiotics and steroids. They're even denied basic nutrition and fluids, which amounts to a war crime under Rules 531 and 1182 of the Geneva Convention, which state you may not starve a person and you must provide basic necessities even to prisoners. Instead, COVID patients are overtreated with dangerous and ineffective therapies like remdesivir, narcotics, and mechanical ventilation, a combination that more often than not results in death. Many doctors who understand the importance of early and appropriate treatment are perplexed and horrified by what they're seeing, and for good reason. It's truly beyond comprehension at this point. Perhaps the most shocking example I've come across is the case of a perfectly healthy man involved in a car accident. In a talk with Stu Peters on Rumble, Benjamin Gord claims to have been given an unknown knockout drug by the attending EMT and woke up on life support in a COVID ward. He pulled out the vent all by himself, as he was unharmed from the accident. When he demanded to know why he'd been placed on mechanical ventilation, the shocked staff told him he was being treated for COVID. In other cases, patients have been put on COVID standard care even though they came in for something else. Patients are also being denied release and are basically held as prisoners in the hospital. Many are refused the right to deny treatment. On the other hand, they're forced to accept do not resuscitate orders that they don't want. There are also reports of COVID patients being given potent central nervous system respiratory depressants, otherwise known as euthanasia cocktails, combinations of sedatives like morphine, fentanyl, and midazolam.
Euthanasia. That just means just killing them, euthanizing them, you know. And now I'm thinking about how they got all of these, the MAID. Y'all heard that, the MAID, where they're putting up consent to for humans to get assisted killing. You know, I guess they need more organs now. I guess since they're have already boosted, you know, those ones, I guess, evidently can't be, you know, they can't get the organs from them because all of those boosters and all of that other shit and everything is breaking down with them, you know. So now they want to grab the ones out like the homeless, you know, and assist them because, you know, poverty, you know, come up with the dumbest shit, you know, assist them into killing themselves or the mentally ill or whatever they coming up with to assist humans in killing themselves. is because all of the ones that they've shot up and boosted up, organ failures, they can't get them. So now they got to come up with some new shit to gather more materials of the human, for their longevity, because they feed off of us. So yeah, they want to assist you in killing yourself and want to come up with all type of shit, to get you, because they need those organs, the blood, because they feed and live off of us, the humans. So wicked, these are some wicked, wicked fucks. I don't know why y'all can't see it. And for those of us that can see it, I'm so happy that all of us ain't blind to these monsters, these wicked fucks. They literally feed and live off of us. And by any means necessary, they're collecting the human body. You see it with this fake pandemic. They locked you away, all in your free land right here in the land of the free. They locked you away from your family members. You couldn't even go get them. COVID killed them. Wicked fucks.
The medical kidnapping and mistreatment of patients against their will has become so widespread, human rights attorney Thomas Rands asked the Truth for Health Foundation to set up a medical advisory team, called the COVID Care Strategy Team, to help families physically liberate their loved ones from hospitals where they're kept captive. While one can speculate about the ethics of hospital administrators and doctors all day long, one of the most obvious answers to how this could have happened is that hospitals are receiving massive incentives to overtreat COVID patients to death. In the simplest terms, every patient has what amounts to a $100,000 bounty on their head. Hospitals receive bonus payments for COVID testing and COVID diagnoses. Hospitals receive a 20% bonus on top of the standard cost for the treatment of a COVID patient. Admission of a COVID patient. Use of remdesivir. The U.S. government actually pays hospitals an additional bonus when they use remdesivir, and that's in addition to the 20% upcharge. Remdesivir was developed as an antiviral drug and tested during the Ebola breakout in 2014. Results were beyond disappointing. In the early months of 2020, the drug was entered into COVID trials. Those trials were also beyond disappointing. Not only was the drug ineffective against the infection, but it also had significant and life-threatening side effects, including kidney failure and liver damage.
And that was the failure right there, okay? They didn't want a drug that killed you and destroyed those precious organs of yours. That was the failure right there. They want something to slow your ass down, kill you, and in the meantime, they can get those organs. All right, family. I'm just sickened to death with this. But like I said, this video is up in its entirety on BitChute. If you already have been following Bamily's Family on BitChute and Facebook and Instagram, then you can go see it in its entirety. And as always, I leave links, to where I got it so that you can go and look at more of that person's videos and works. But family, I can't stress it enough. Don't take them shots. Don't trust these wicked fucks. Stop looking at this government like it's your friend. It's not. The ones you voting for, that government, those are the ones that are harvesting your damn organs out here. Those are the ones locking you away from your family. Those are the ones that gave you that fake pandemic. Those are the ones that's giving you that shot that's going to kill you. Those are the ones you love, jumping up and down in front of you, howling and prancing. Okay? Be safe out here in Devildom. I love you.